What is up,
No.
What? What is up, Facebook world?
You have no idea.
We're coming in to you on this Friday. Yeah, so I don't want to create a thing, but technology. Facebook.
Facebook. Seriously, yeah. We'll see how the rest of the day goes, and the next time I do a Facebook Live, and then we'll see if things have changed. Because Facebook could be testing. But enough about Facebook.
Yeah.
Enough about all of this crap that I'm dealing with.
So Connor actually wanted to bring you guys some really insane stats about mobile. So as you guys know, going through this, there's this trend for us of number one, make a backup. So if you read his shirt, make a backup of your website. This is more important now than ever. Tis the season. Tis the season for people to be in shenanigans when it comes to coding and getting to other people's websites. So Connor, let's dive into the mobile stats because it was kind of one of those we were trying to figure out what can we bring to you guys. First off, before we even start, I don't know if y'all know this, but when he gave me this stat, I was like, do what? Like, there's 3.5 billion smartphones in the world. So this isn't just the United States, it's the whole entire globe, right? But I think of 3.5 billion, that is a lot of mobile devices.
Well, there's 4 billion phones or cell phones, but 3.5 are considered the smartphone, your browser and all that stuff.
So 500 million is those flippy phones.
Yeah,
interesting. Okay,
they're all being used on burn notice and NCIS.
All the Hollywood. Well, I don't know if they are now, but yeah, probably previously.
So where was that story going? Any idea?
It was the Hollywood and then cell phones, and then in my head. So this is also funny, guys. This is how Kim's head works most of the time when I'm not doing business. It was, my brain went to, they probably aren't even real cell phones, real flip phones. They're probably just like dummy phones, like the fake, right? Because they also have like fake glass and fake ice. They have a lot of fake things that they use in Hollywood, so it doesn't melt and it breaks really easy. So when somebody busts through a window, they look like they're exerting themselves and they're cut, but they're actually not cut. It's actually just flimsy stuff.
Yeah, it's sugar.
It's the sound effect. Yeah. And then it's like, I busted through a window.
But here's the crazy thing, so your mind goes all sorts of different places, and that's the same thing that happens on websites.
Yeah.
And we call it bounce rate.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is an actual stat inside of your...
You can see.
Are you impressed?
Yeah, you can see how insane your actual potential clients are based on their bounce rate. That's what I was going to say.
So inside of Google Analytics, there's a thing called bounce rate, which is when somebody comes in, views one page, and then leaves your website.
Yeah.
And generally, we want to see those bounce rates be pretty low. And if you're on an e-commerce website, we want them extremely low. That means they went to multiple products, right? So that multiple pages stands a chance that they're actually going through a checkout process or wanting to get more information and so forth. If you're a tow truck company, you've probably got a high bounce rate. People come to the homepage, they get your phone number, they call.
Yeah.
Hell, they probably don't even get to your homepage. They just do it right off of Google Business. A topic for another time. But when it comes to the bounce rate, on a mobile phone, the average bounce rate is 45%. And on a desktop, the average bounce rate is 38%. So if your numbers are in there or lower, that's good. If you're much higher than that, you may want to reevaluate just why they're bouncing.
Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes...
And bouncing could be a couple things really quickly. Bouncing could be maybe you have an image on a product that represents what you're selling, but then whenever they go into the product, it's a different image, right? Another bounce rate could be maybe they're shopping for something because you actually used a product as an ad, but you no longer have that product. So when they go to that page, it's not there.
You got to experience that.
I experienced that, last week, and then on Thanksgiving too. Another thing too is maybe maybe you had an ad or you had some information or your page was indexed inside of Google, right, for some kind of service. And then you decided to just go in and do housekeeping, but you didn't really keep track of what do I need to do for 301 redirects. So then they land into a page that's non-existent. So it's a 404 page error. And then all of a sudden they bounce out and they just go completely outside your site, right? Like those are a couple different areas of bounce rate as well.
Yep. Yep. So the other stuff that I have on here, 51% of the time online is with a smartphone.
Yeah.
So that's just people in general. With whatever they're doing online, they're using a cell phone for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy stat that came up on my list, 95.1% of Facebook users access Facebook on a mobile device.
Yeah, and I would actually, it would be so fascinating, because that's the now stat. It would be so fascinating to find out what was at the beginning of the year, because Facebook did change their layout where it's like all white or you can do all black, and then they spread things out. And I know I personally kept trying to go back to the traditional setting layout for desktop, traditional setup for desktop, and then eventually they took it off the plane. So personally, I get on here on Facebook on desktop, and then that's pretty much it. I don't want all the stuff, because you see who all's online and you see what option, and then the pages that are active. Like, there's just a lot of stuff all in one. Versus on your phone, it's very slim and you don't see it all. It's more of an experience based on it's in your profile.
So do you use it more than on your cell phone?
I actually use Facebook on my cell phone than I do desktop. I actually try not to ever go on desktop on Facebook. The only time is if I have a message, because sometimes the messenger is kind of a little weird. If you get somebody that gives you a long message or a video recording, then I go on the desktop view so my phone doesn't like shut off or go silent. But I do know, just grumblings in my own personal Facebook feed, there's a lot of people that have seared to just mobile on Facebook because they cannot stand the desktop on the Facebook layout. I mean, it's a lot of information all in your face all at once, right? Yep. And the reason why we wanted to bring you guys the stats is that if you have not already, you need to load your actual website on your phone, right? And go through not just the flow and the visuals, but look and see what is somebody experiencing. So I would even recommend going on a Google search inside your phone and Google your company and see what the mobile end users actually see when things are brought up, because it is very different than what is on Facebook at most times, from the image styles to the different layout information to the call to actions.
Yep.
And then also there might be, like, say that you designed your site yourself and you didn't know that you had the option to have some stuff open on mobile device and some stuff not open on mobile device. So sometimes it's a little scary to load it on your desktop and be like, oh, I didn't know that was the first thing that loaded, right? Like, we've had people like have their footer load first on their header, and they'll be like, that wasn't the experience I wanted to give them at all. At the same time, in the mobile layout, you can kind of like slim stuff down design wise, and still make the search engines happy as well as the end users, right?
The only caveat with that, yes, slim down your mobile website version. Maybe you remove some of the pictures.
Yeah.
Maybe you remove some of the content. But just be aware that Google indexes your mobile phone first.
Yep.
They don't care what's on the desktop display anymore. If it's not displaying on the mobile phone, they're not indexing it. So keep that in mind, that if you do decide to go in and, let's say I'm going to remove these 9 paragraphs of text, you could see your rankings change because now that content is gone.
Yeah. But there's very unique ways that you guys can do that, right? So there's like an accordion. You can use accordions or toggles inside your design that helps you tuck content into a certain section, but you can keep it on your mobile device, right? So definitely don't go in and cut and gut just to cut and gut, right? The other thing too is to just be very particular about what are you actually putting in front of your individuals as well as your end users. So that's important to look at. And that's where it goes to looking at your Google Analytics, your bounce rates. Where are people going? What pages are they going into? What products are super popular?
Right.
Okay. Other mobile stats.
So I got 3 other big ones that are kind of a big deal. And let's see. What order do I do them in? Okay, here we go. So
I'm just excited he took notes, y'all.
58% of online searches are done on a mobile device.
Wow. Okay. Yeah,
right?
That's not surprising, though.
That's kind of a high number, 58%. But the one that got me kind of crazy was that 40% of people only search on a smartphone. They don't use a desktop at all. They will only do their search, whether it's asking Siri or Google or any of that kind of fun stuff. So the voice search and regular search, you're waiting on this to kick in, aren't you?
Well, no, I was thinking Connor yesterday on the couch was too lazy to get up and get his cell phone that was in the kitchen charging. So he yells across the screen, "Don't you do it right now because we're live." But he says, "Google, what time is it?" And I was like, this is where laziness has just gone too far.
I couldn't see the clock.
But don't say the word.
The phones were off on the side.
Yeah.
And then your phone, you didn't have yours over with us either. And I wasn't getting up off the couch. And this one didn't volunteer to get up off the couch either.
I didn't really care what time it was.
So I just yelled out and asked the phone. But, you know.
It didn't answer back, y'all. Like, it was like it's bedtime. I'm tuned off. Okay,
those two stats. So 58% people use a mobile phone or only do a search on a mobile phone. 40% only use their cell phone. And then 62% of the searches that are displayed, they show differently on a mobile phone than they do on a desktop. So there's more diversity when it comes to the desktop display. Generally, your 1 through 6 is going to flop around all over the place. But items number 6 through 15 or 6 through 20, those ones you're going to see different ones that you've probably never seen before on a desktop display. But it's kind of crazy that they do that so different on a mobile phone versus desktop. And that just has to do with SEO. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
It has to do with the content that's showing and the order that the content is showing in. Those are going to play factors.
Yep, cool.
Those are the main stats. The other ones here, they're...
He's like, here's the insane stats. Okay, there is trash. Go on the floor.
The other ones were interesting to me as a programmer, but not interesting to anybody else, just me.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Well, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. If you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. Do you have the Facebook, Twitter? None of that stuff works?
None of that works.
So he can't put any of the fun stuff on the screen.
My toys.
His little... he has this taped. I don't know if you can hear it. Wait, shh, be quiet. Can you guys hear this? That is tape. He has taped this to his handle so he could be like a pilot. And hit numbers.
It's the Elgato Stream Deck. So what it does, it allows you to pre-program different things like intros, outros, music. The duck quack is still in here.
Yeah, the duck quack's fun. The duck quack's fun. He got that one for me.
But I can't use any of that because Facebook, for some reason, is not using OBS as a stream ability.
Yeah.
And I have to use just our regular camera, which is a different camera than the last time that we
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We pre-announced it a couple of videos back. All right, guys. In the meantime, have a fantastic weekend. If you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. If there's a certain subject or a certain question that you've got, feel free to tune down below as well and give us some feedback. So in the meantime, have an amazing day, an amazing weekend, until we chat again.
All right, guys.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
See you later.
You know what's fun is that we sit here, we have to pause.
Yeah, but I gotta
reach over there to get to it.
You gotta do your abs of the day. They'll cheer you on. I promise. Go, Connor, go. Go, Connor, go. Go, Connor, go. He's gonna shoot it off really quick. He's like, oh shit, she's cheerleading. Yeah, he's still cheering. Go, Connor, go. Go, Connor, go. Thanks, guys. Chat soon.
Oh, we're gone.